welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Eiderstein. Thank you for joining me again today for April 28th reading of James Allen Daily Meditation. Yesterday's was amazing. I really enjoyed the descriptions of the unrighteous man and the righteous man. Right? It gives us, I really appreciate when he gives us some guidelines to take a look at and really help us see where we are, right? And give us a little bit of a take a little bit of a spiritual temperature. So yesterday's was a very, very good one, and I appreciated it very much. So I'm excited to see to it's the 28th days and how they round this whole month out. It'll be quite interesting, I'm sure. So this will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning this is the first time I've read or heard this meditation. Will be on the podcast when I read it out loud. And you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go. This is April 28th meditation. James Allen's Daily Meditation for April 28th. There we go. Be watchful that no thought of self creep in again and stain thee. Think of thyself as abolished. In all thy doing, think of the good of others and of the world, and not of pleasure or reward of thyself. Thou art no longer separate and divided from men. Thou art one with all. No longer strive against others for thyself, but sympathize with all. Regard no man as thine enemy, for thou art the friend of all men. Be at peace with all. Pour out compassion on all living things, and let boundless charity adorn thy words and deeds. Such is the glad way of truth. Such is the doing which is according to the eternal. Ruled with joy is the right doer. He acts from principles which do not change and pass away. He is one with the eternal. He has passed beyond unrest. The peace of the righteous man is perfect. It is not disturbed by change and impermanence. Freed from passion, he is equal-minded, calm, and does not sorrow. He sees things as they are and is no more confused. Open thine eyes to the eternal light. That was so cool. That line, think of thyself as abolished. It's almost like think of thyself as abolished. Like, don't even consider the fact that there's another choice to make, right? When you get to the point of being in service to others, to serving goodness, to serving righteousness, don't serve self. It's not that get rid of that completely. Abolish self. Forget self. It's not a choice anymore. There's only one choice to make when you start living this life and you start making these changes and growing into these things. It's pretty amazing. So I love how it opened up. Be watchful that no thought of self creep in again and stain thee. This is why the diligence and the practice and implementation of monitoring our thoughts and our actions and our desires, and our intentions, is so important, so absolutely necessary, because these thoughts of self will creep in. They will come back if we do not monitor these things. And we have to do this work and we have to pay attention to it. So we see how the thoughts begin. A lot of them is a desire. A lot of them can be a fear. It gave us the listing of 4 of them recently. Craving for pleasure, clinging to temporal things, the love of self, and lust for personal continuance. So it starts in one of those 4 places. And then suddenly all we're doing is thinking about me, thinking about us, thinking about ourselves. I think about me too often for my own taste still. And it's been these have been difficult lessons to learn. These have been decisions I've had to make on a lot of faith to let this stuff go. And when it comes up in my life, I've got to do that work and take a look at it, So, really grateful for that. Okay. Be watchful, that no thought of self creeping again and staying. Think of thyself as abolished. Yeah, that's that line. I really love that line right there. Think of thyself as abolished. You're not even a choice to serve anymore, right? In all thy good, think of the good other. In all thy doing, think of the good of others and of the world, and not of pleasure or reward to thyself. We should not be thinking of how, ideally, we should not be considering the impact it will have on ourselves. Right? We should be only thinking about being of service to God and others, without any notion of retribution or payment, reconciliation. We're not keeping score. We do it for the genuine reason of doing good. Thou art no longer separate and divided from men. Thou art one with all. We see ourselves in other men and other people. We see how we were sick. We see how they might be sick. We understand that people can act in negative and abusive ways because they themselves they're blind to it or ignorant to the circumstances of their life that have caused them to be here. All sin is ignorance. Thou art one with all. We realize that everything we do and everything we put out into this world, including how we interact and how every interaction goes with other human beings, is the seeds we sow. No longer strive against others for thyself, but sympathize with all. We don't need to have that sense of competition to step on the throats of our friends and our fellow human beings. No longer strive against others for thyself. You can drop that sense of competition, but sympathize with all. Have that understanding eye I was just talking about, that compassionate eye that I was talking about. We can understand all. Sympathize with all. Regard no man as thine enemy, for thou art the friend of all men. We don't meet people with disdain. We don't meet people with apprehension. It's amazing how things will go if you welcome someone with a warmth, spiritual light. If you invite them to enjoy moments with you, instead of worrying about how you are going to protect yourself or trying to make a judgment on this person. It's pretty amazing. And I've experienced that. How you interact and invite people into a moment with you is very important. Be at peace with all. I mean, that's pretty plain right there. Be at peace with all. Don't let anybody elicit that emotional negative response from you. And don't let yourself react out of emotion. Be at peace with all, which means at peace with your past, at peace with yourself. When you can be at peace with all, you need nothing from anyone. Pour out compassion on all living things. All living things. That means plants, the animals, humans. And let boundless charity adorn thy words and deeds. That's an altruistic, charitable nature that we get when we start to become of service to God and others, good in others, society and others. Right? That's what we're talking about there. Let boundless charity adorn thine words and deeds. Honestly as well. Such is the glad way of truth. Such is the doing which is according to the eternal. That's how we're supposed to live. That's the spiritual way of life. That's what aligns us with truth. That aligns us with our God or whatever we're in service to. Such is the doing which is according to the eternal. Ruled with joy is the right doer. He acts from principles which do not change and pass away. That's where our strength comes from, our steadfastness comes from, because we do not act from emotion. We do not act from prejudice. We do not act from judgment. We act from moral ground and principle. We dedicate ourselves to that, regardless of how we feel, and then we realize eventually that how we feel really makes no difference. You get perspective, some would say. That's the unchanging principles that we make decisions from. He is one with the eternal. He has passed beyond unrest. We have been blessed with peace when we can get to this spot. Because we have no demands we are making of others that could pull us out of this sense of peace. When we are able to understand that and take our reliance upon external things out of the equation, which is possible. It really is. The peace of the righteous man is perfect. That's what he says next. He is one with the eternal and has passed beyond unrest. The peace of the righteous man is perfect. It is not disturbed by change and impermanence. Anything that is not permanent shall not bother, because everything's temporary. Everything's on loan. Freed from passion, sin, ignorance, our own emotional desires. He is equal-minded, calm, and does not sorrow. It gives you that perfect, I don't know if perfect's the right word, but gives you that peace of mind to hold an equal-minded, calm, and sorrowless soul. We have to be freed from passion. We have to be freed from those emotional engines we run on. He finishes the main body of this reading with, he sees things as they are and is no more confused. So we see reality. We engage with reality. And we accept reality, and we enjoy reality for the blessings that it's bestowed upon us already. And the ones that will sure to come as long as I stay alive, as they say. I didn't know my life could get this good, so who knows how good it could actually get, right? It ends with this: open thine eyes to the eternal light. Look to the God of your understanding. Look to that light. Pretty powerful reading today. Very powerful reading today. So, thank y'all for joining me today for April 28th's reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Really, really enjoyed it. really thought it was a great write-up on how we must be again. Right? And how we will conduct ourselves when we get there as well, which is equally as important. So, all right. Well, thank you all for jumping on with me today. I look forward to tomorrow's, April 29th, and we'll go from there. So, until next time, thanks.